Before the video starts, I want to say there's going to be a big update video coming out soon, so please watch it and be on the lookout for that because it's very important and it will change a lot of this channel, so make sure that you guys watch that. I also want to say that I'm trying to reach 1,000 followers on Instagram. We're getting close, we just hit 800, and I post a lot of dope stuff over there, a lot of fan art, a lot of behind the scenes things. So if you guys want to see all of those dope posts as well as getting into contact with me via direct messages on Instagram, then make sure that you guys go over there and follow that page. And make sure you guys join the Discord server as well because I have a lot of Discord related videos coming out soon, and I'll mention a little bit of those more in the update video that's coming out very soon. But make sure that you guys check the description below for all those links because a lot of dope stuff is coming, and for you guys to be really involved in a lot of it, joining those social medias is the best way to do it. But with all that being said, guys, today's video is an absolute banger. It's a great one of my favorite ones I've made in a long time, so make sure that you guys watch it all the way through and have an amazing day. Enjoy the video, guys. For those of you that have multiple siblings, I want you to think about that one that's just kind of pushed to the side, you know? That one sibling that everyone's like, yeah, that's my brother, or yeah, that's my sister. No one's really proud of them. Maybe not necessarily that you're not proud of them, but it's just like the forgotten child, you know? The one that nobody really talks about, and that's kind of what we're doing today. Total Drama Action, for whatever reason, has always been the most overlooked season. I mean, All-Stars of Pahkitew Island get talked about more than Total Drama Action, and I don't get it. And I'm gonna be honest, I was in that same boat as everyone else. I couldn't remember anything from Action. It had probably been like 6 years since I'd seen some of the episodes. I had no idea what I was talking about when it came to that season. So recently, I went and rewatched Total Drama Action. As you can tell, the title of this video is probably relative to what I just said. And when I say that Total Drama Action was really good, but really disappointing at the same time, it's true. It's a really weird way for me to review the season, so I'm just gonna go through every single thing about the season that I want to talk about, and then I'll give my overall review afterwards. I have some notes written down for this, which normally I don't do it, but for this I wanted to because I know the importance of a season review, so I'm going to be talking about Action in full. Consider this my review, but also like the start of a new series. I'll explain later. So I'm going to run through a lot of these points pretty quickly. The first thing I want to talk about is the cast. I think the cast is perfect. I wouldn't make any changes. I love the cast, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I think the cast is really solid, and we had a great start to the season. The first main thing that happens in the show that I want to touch upon is Trent's horrible derailment. And when I say horrible, I mean horrible. You know, I remember Trent being pretty terrible in Action from just kind of memory, and I had obviously seen the episodes before way back in the day, and I remembered, and I think it's like the general consensus, yeah, Trent really sucked in Action, but he sucked way more than I thought. You know, him just going absolutely crazy for Gwen and being a total, dare I say, simp for Gwen. Trent really lost his rocker, man. And it makes no sense because in Island he was this super chill, cool dude that everyone looked up to, and you're like, oh, this is the guy that is like, you know, the most popular in class, the dude that everyone likes, the guy that people want to be. And then he becomes this total whack job in the next season, and it's literally like, even then, you know, people could say, well, it was a season from now, you know, it could have been a couple months, like a year, and then he kind of just went nuts. No, it's literally 2 days. Like they say the space between Island and Action is like 2 days. It's a weekend or something ridiculous. Like there's no way that man goes crazy like that fast. And then whenever Aftermath rolls around, he kind of starts redeeming himself a little bit, but then by the Celebrity Manhunt episode, he starts talking about Gwen again and just really ruining all of his redeeming qualities. Well, I guess that was a little bit before, because whenever the Celebrity Manhunt rolls around, that's whenever he's in the Drama Brothers and everything. And honestly, I've had people say that the Drama Brothers and the way Trent acts is like bad for his character, but I would rather that Trent than the simp Trent any day of the week. This kind of bleeds into my next point, which is that Gwen was equally as horrible as Trent. Well, maybe not equally as horrible, but she sucked this season. It's kind of something I've noticed with me rewatching the seasons recently, is that Gwen is not as good as I remembered, but that's for a whole nother video. I'll just throw that thought out there for you guys and, you know, give you something to think about. But Gwen was really bad this season, and it sucks. I feel bad for her character because Gwen is a character that is in a lot of episodes, but it feels like she still has potential. What I mean by that is they bring her around and have her do a lot of stuff, but it's always really lackluster and nothing really feels important. And this is a perfect example of that. In Action, she's literally just there to break up with Trent. Like, that's the only reason Gwen and Trent are back in this season, is to break up. And then she gets voted out as well. You know, Trent and Gwen were just very lackluster this season, and I think this season really hurt a lot of their characters. You know, everyone can agree that this season definitely derailed Trent, but it derailed Gwen too in a way. So another thing that started brewing pretty early on into the season was the development of Justin's antagonist antagonistic run. And when I say I remember Justin being way better than he was, that is an understatement. I thought he was such a better villain previously, and then I rewatched it and I'm like, wow, they really did nothing with him. Justin's just kind of a bad guy, you know? I love Justin's character. I think he's got probably the most potential out of any total drama character, but the way that they underutilized him this season is appalling, honestly. It's so bad. They literally did nothing with him. The man gets like 8th or 7th place. You know, he goes pretty far. Should have went farther, in my opinion. Should have at least made Final 3, but that's beside the point. But you've got a guy who has an amazing story. You know, the dude that said like maybe 5 things in the previous season comes back and he's in it to win it, and he's using his brain now, and he's actually a smart guy. Okay, hello, I can get behind this. But then pretty early on, the facade stops working on Beth and Lindsay, which were like his main puppets, and then it just kind of becomes, oh hey guys, I'm Justin, I'm in the season now. It just makes no sense, and then his elimination was pretty cheeks too. There's just so much to do with this character, and they did nothing with him. The man had so much untapped potential, and I really want him to come back for a new season and be a true main antagonist, because he did not get an antagonistic run, guys. And it sucks to see, because I love Justin's character, and I think that he could definitely come back and do some great damage, and could even potentially be like the first real main villain win. I mean, I guess Alejandro, but you know, still. I would just love to see Justin come back and do more, because they did nothing with him this season, man. It really drove me nuts watching the season and being like, wait, that's it? That was Justin's run? Totally lackluster compared to how I remembered it, and that's why I really want Justin to return and do some great damage. Another person that I remembered having a better season than they actually did when I rewatched it was Lindsay. I remember loving this season when I watched it originally and thinking that Lindsay was great and that she was a main character in the season, and albeit she still was a pretty big main character, she was definitely significant in the season, but she wasn't as good as I remembered. That doesn't mean she was bad, you know, she was still a great character this season, but with Lindsay, and this is a theme that kind of goes with a lot of the other characters, it's pretty recurring, that once they start getting closer and closer to their elimination episode, they become more and more annoying. Like for example, whenever Lindsay's run came to an end in action, by that point she was super bossy and annoying to all of her people and just tried to, you know, boss them around and say, you do this, you do that, and she just really lost her touch. She lost what made her special, you know, she lost her wholesomeness towards the end of her character run, and I didn't like that. It's also strange how they build her up to have this big redemption arc and then she just votes herself out. Like, that's such a lame way to eliminate her. They gave a lot of people pretty crappy eliminations, and I'll touch on that in a little bit, but man, oh man, did they really butcher Lindsay's run this season. One character that I think was amazing this season was 100% Leshawna. She was awesome this season, and I have really no complaints about her, other than, you know, maybe she should have went a little farther. I know I keep saying like every character should have went farther, so at some point it's like, okay, well, you know, how are we gonna have 10 people go farther? You know, I totally get that, but I personally would make some changes with the cast, and I would, or not the cast, but I would change the elimination order a little bit, the pre-merge, so that I can make some of the other characters go a little farther. If you guys want me to go in depth with that, because I'm not really going to in this video, but if you guys want me to make like a total drama action rewritten video, then definitely let me know in the comments down below and I'll strongly consider it. So to touch back on something that I mentioned a little bit earlier, the eliminations. What was wrong with the eliminations? A lot. Basically every elimination felt like they were derailing the character and just trying to ruin them to justify them getting eliminated. They were not thinking long term, they were thinking short term, and it was really detrimental to some of the characters. I also didn't like how big names were just getting brushed off, you know, like Heather's elimination was fine with me, you know, her getting eliminated then was fine, but she literally just got eliminated. Like, that was it. She just got voted out for no reason. I mean, granted, it was Heather, so there's a reason within itself, but it was just a very lackluster elimination, you know? She's just in the season, and then she's not, and that could be said about a lot of characters. The main thing that I found about this season was that it just kind of felt like it happened. There was no real story to follow, and I know that that's going to be hard with a sequel season because you have all the main storylines brewing in Island and finishing in Island, but you have got to keep it fresh and keep it original, and I think one of the main ways that they did this was with storylines like DJ and Chef, and then Izzy changing her name. Things like that helped kept it vibrant, but man, did some of the characters just kind of exist in this season, and Heather was a big one, and that was a little unfortunate to watch. One thing that they did that I found really interesting, and honestly I liked, and I know a lot of people hated, was having Owen return after being eliminated. One thing that I do want to quickly say is I'm pretty sure in a lot of other videos I had said that Owen was medically evacuated from the game, because that's what I thought happened for the longest time, but then it's actually not. Courtney voted him out, so I kind of forgot, well, I didn't kind of forgot, I did forget how Owen was originally eliminated. So this is just me kind of recognizing the fault in a lot of my other videos where I probably had mentioned that Owen was med-evac'd. He obviously wasn't medically evacuated, he was voted out by Courtney. But regardless, Owen returns because he's the spy. You know, he's there to mess things up because his family blew all their money on a cheese seller and Owen needs to save up more money. It totally makes sense. You know, it's a great way to reintroduce Owen back into the season and I have no problem with it. I love Owen. I guess the main thing that I would do though is I wouldn't have him come back as a contestant. I would just have him be like an intern type position. I just don't like the idea of Owen voting and he just kind of ruins the elimination order. You know, I love Owen's character, but you know, I think you could sacrifice him making merge every season for this. I really do. Because at the end of the day, the statistics of placements don't really matter. It's about the impact of the season. So if you bring Owen back as an intern type person who's still doing the same thing he did in action, then I see no problem with that. His character is still being effective and he's still getting the screen time that he needed in order to accomplish all these goals with his new character storyline. So I have no problem with Owen coming back so long as he's not really a contestant. I mean, granted, I don't have a problem anyways. It's just, you know, I think that you could definitely do it better. But that's easy for us to say over a decade after it's been released. You know, you have time to think about how you could go about this, so obviously I'm not judging. But regardless, that's just kind of what I would do with Owen. So the less specific thing that I want to talk about is the main storyline this season and how I would do the finale. So it's kind of two things balled into one. So the main storyline for me when watching this season, I felt like personally the one that I could gravitate to the most and the one that I found myself most invested in was the Duncan and Harold feud. Their rivalry was unlike any other and it was super fun to watch. It reminded me a lot of like Heather and Gwen, Leshawna and Heather, you know, those kind of rivalries, but we had a male version of it and it was really fun. The main thing that was interesting with this too and helped me get behind it the most is that both characters were really likable. I love Duncan and I love Harold. You know, it wasn't like where Heather, a lot of people didn't like her. No, you actually had two likable characters going at it and that was really interesting to see. And it was fun, man. You know, we had it in Island a little bit, but Harold gets eliminated obviously pretty early, but then it comes back into action and I love it. It's like a main storyline throughout the entire season. It was great. My only complaint is that it wasn't the finale. I think that Duncan versus Harold should have been the finale total drama action. I know previously I've always said, you know, I would do a final three of like Lindsay, Harold, and Justin, but after I rewatched this season, I realized that Duncan versus Harold would make the most sense with what they did canonly. And it also just kind of goes unsaid that I don't like Beth's character very much, and I think that her run in action was horrible, and it is. I do want to preface this by saying I went into this season with a totally clean slate. You know, I went in there with no bias, and I told myself, okay, we're going to treat this season as if we've never seen it, and as if we have no opinions on these characters, and we're just going to see what we think. I wanted to go into this season thinking, you know, not that I hate Beth's character or that I don't like her character, but rather giving it an open mind, and I wanted to see, you know, hey, maybe Beth's not as bad, and I wanted to see if I could actually enjoy her character by the end of this season. Because previously, I'd always said that Beth sucked in this season, I didn't really like her, but I hadn't seen the season in so long, and I am proud to announce that after rewatching the season and giving Beth another chance, you know, a whole new clean slate, I am proud to announce that Beth is not as bad as I remembered her being. She's even worse. Beth sucked, man. She was so freaking bad. She did nothing the entire season. She was worthless, literally a waste of oxygen in this season, and I'm not joking. She did nothing. It's rattling my brain trying to think of how they thought she should have made finale. Like, how do you write Beth's character this way and in this season and think that she was a deserving finalist? She was not even a deserving final eightist, like let alone a finalist. Beth should have been eliminated way earlier. She should not have won. She should have been eliminated at like the final 8 and then had Lindsay give a great run and make her go pretty far. Nobody will ever convince me that Beth was enjoyable in the season. Literally, her entire personality trait was having a boyfriend, and then it ended up being revealed that like he was an actor or something. I still don't understand the ending there. It made no sense. Like, Beth made no sense, and then she kisses Harold at one point and is just like, yeah, Brady's cool, but Harold's awesome. Like it made no sense. Like, oh, okay, so you're gonna dump Brady, the dude you've been talking about the entire season? Your only main personality trait this entire season was that you had a boyfriend, apparently, and then she's just gonna drop him so fast for Harold, a guy that's clearly not into her. It just made no sense at all and was not enjoyable. And Beth sucked this season, man, and it's sad to say that Beth really brought down a lot of value of this season for me, but she did. So to give my quick review of the season, I think that action is honestly really good, and I do think it's underrated and it's overlooked for sure, but there is a lot of missed opportunity in this season, and I think that degrades the quality a little bit. Because I think the season was awesome. I really enjoyed it, and I had a great time watching it. I got it done pretty fast. You know, I've tried to rewatch action multiple times and I've only got to like episode 7 and then I've fallen off, but this time it was different for me and I really enjoyed it and I watched it all the way through and I had a good time. But there was just so many things that I would change about this season. Not that it's bad as a whole, because obviously it's not, but there was just a lot of missed opportunity, a lot of things that I would do differently, and I think that kind of affected my opinion on it a little bit. But overall, I love the season and I think it's definitely good, and I would love to see them return to the film lot. If they ever did a new season, I think I would set it there. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. That is my total drama action review. This was probably a super long video, but there was a lot of stuff I wanted to cover. I mean, it's a season review, you know, it's not meant to be a fast video. But regardless, that's really all I have for you in this video, so please like the video if you did enjoy, comment down what you think of the video, and in the comments down below, let me know who your guys' favorite person from Total Drama Action was, and did you guys like this season as a whole? What would you change? I'm interested to see, so let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys check the description below for my Instagram, my Twitter, my Discord, my Snapchat, all that stuff. I got a lot of cool stuff down there, guys, so make sure to peep that. And if you guys haven't already, please subscribe. We are getting super close to 39,000 subscribers, on the way to 40,000 subscribers, and then maybe even 50,000 subscribers soon. The end of the year goal is to be at 75,000 subscribers. I know that's a really big goal, but I'm gonna go crazy on YouTube and I would love to see us reach 75,000. I think it's definitely doable and I would love to see it happen. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe. I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic day, week, and life. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. Peace out.
She taught me off in the back of a McDonald's. It only costs a big night. That shit like $3. I think I'm getting kicked out of the play. Straight face, run or be